Welcome to FC Business. Today I'm joined by Graham Hunneman, who is the Director of Sales and Accounts at Christeyns UK, a professional hygiene company. Welcome, Graham. In terms of cleaning and hygiene, what's the current situation? What current guidelines do we have to work under?
Fortunately, the government is very, very good with the guidelines that we all need to follow. It's very easy just to click on the government.net connections and they will come up with exactly what their guidelines are for getting back to work, which is really important for everyone and certainly for the football industry. I think the one thing that we can't rely on is a science-based solution at the moment, because we're just not at a situation where we understand enough about the virus and the science of it to actually solve the problem. So it's really easy for all of us just to go back to some real common sense. And, you know, if we apply that common sense, which is just making sure that we stay socially apart, we improve our hand hygiene significantly. And the best method of that is just hand washing. Once the hand washing has been done, which is effectively for a minimum of the 20 seconds, then apply a gel, or if you haven't got hand washing facilities after you've touched something, to apply a gel. You know, people should be safe in this situation. It really is down to common sense and applying that to all situations. One of the challenges with the football clubs is the fact that, you know, there's lots of touch point surfaces. If you imagine when you go into the turnstile, you touch the barriers, you walk up the stairs, you then go into the seating areas, you touch that, you then go into the concessions to get your burger or your pie for half time. And everywhere that you're touching, everyone else is touching as well. And they're surfaces that we've never really considered how we were going to clean them before. And certainly within our business, which was predominantly trading into the food industry, we didn't have products that were tested against viruses because we'd never needed it. We were really worried about killing bacteria, killing yeasts, killing molds, and making sure that the food that we eat is of the safe condition. And certainly most of the food that we eat, or all of the food we eat, is incredibly high standards. So we have had to do nothing within the food industry, but we've now had to have all of our products tested to make sure they kill viruses, and very quickly come up with new products that are actually going to help people like the football industry and the go-to shops with the touch surface cleaning.
And in terms of the products that you're talking about, what specifically are your products that you're offering to football clubs?
Well, certainly from the World Health Authority, one of the most effective products that they're recommending against viruses is peracetic acid, and we're incredibly fortunate that we're one of the 2 largest suppliers of peracetic acid into the world. So we understand very clearly how the product works, how it breaks down. And the beauty of peracetic acid is that once you apply it onto a surface, it breaks down completely to water and oxygen. So there's nothing else left on that surface. But we know that surface has been cleaned, it's been disinfected, there's no odour, and there's no risk to any of the public. Some of the products that we are now seeing that people are advising for touch point surfaces are containing some real nasty bacteria and ingredients. The ingredients, some of them we've seen is sulfuric acid, which certainly would kill you know, a virus, I'm sure, although it's probably not tested against it, but it's certainly not going to be good for your hands or putting it on the material.
And what areas should we be focusing on at the moment? There are no fans coming into the stadium, and there's no real indication of when they might return to a stadium. But at the moment, we might have players return, and we might have the staff return. And what areas of focus should we be looking at?
Well, the key area of focus is that you're going to have thousands and thousands of people, you know, paying to see the best football in the world, and we've got to make sure that their safety is paramount. And the main thing that you're going to have to do is, on the point of entry, is to have some type of hand gels and alcohol to make sure that when you go into that football ground, you're not bringing the bacteria and virus in with you, you're actually stopping it or trying to eliminate them from people's hands before they ever come into your stadium. And then from there, it's really making sure that the seats, you know, are cleaned effectively with rinse one of our products for virucides, so that the person sitting there is safe. And then when the next person comes and sits in that seat, they're not being recontaminated with any viruses or bacteria that's left from that person. And the analogy I can give you is that, if we all fly on an aircraft, if I'm going to die on an aircraft, I expect it's going to be falling out of the air. I don't expect the last person to be sitting in that seat to have coronavirus. And then for me to sit on there, to touch the seatbelt, to touch the armrest, and to touch the tray and eat the food, and then be contaminated and walk off that plane with an infection or a virus that could potentially kill me. So those things have really got to be considered very, very carefully, of how we're going to clean those within the football industry. The other thing is the changing rooms and all of the concessions at the moment, the burger bars, and they've all been sitting there for weeks and weeks, just growing bacteria. And it's making sure that we're cleaning them effectively before we ever let anyone back inside those premises. And, it's really, really important.
And once we have people coming back into the stadium environment, you kind of touched on it, but there's going to have to be a culture change in how we go about our lives, and ensuring that we wash our hands and we stay vigilant, I suppose. How do you work with clubs to help manage that process?
Well, I think that one of the things that we've got is a fantastic training academy within our business. So we've recognised that in the last few weeks that we can't go and train our people how we would normally by going to their factories or their shops or their restaurants. So we're letting them come to us, first of all, through webinars. But we've run 2 webinars within our business, which have been very, very well attended by industry experts, with a fantastic Q&A session after, really finding out about the facts, the grassroots of how we clean, how we effectively remain clean. And then we've also got an academy for doing online training, so we can train people online of how they can actually kill the bacteria, how they control it, what the best practices are. And those things are readily available through our online training academy. It's really
Okay. And what sort of research and development are you doing in terms of the product that you have now to make sure they stay effective and become better at killing the viruses?
Well, to find a new disinfectant is millions of pounds we're testing. So we work with other manufacturers to make sure we've got a really, really good portfolio of products, which we have at the moment. We've got a portfolio of at least 7 products, from using alcohols, which are incredibly effective, to using peracetic acid, to using other effective methods. And we've actually developed, certainly within the last 7 weeks, at least 1 new product that comes in was more cost effective than alcohol. Because what we saw is that the second that people for the NHS service and also for the public were buying the alcohol products, the price of the raw materials went through the roof. So we've had to come up with alternatives to try and make sure that we've got cheaper, more cost-effective products for people, so they've got a choice. All of them work, all of them is tested against the standard. But what we're seeing now is, as prices begin to fall, that the control out there on things like hand gels is just becoming out of control. And it's like a cowboy and Indian situation that, people are coming up, they're taking ingredients out, they're putting nasty ingredients in. And we've got to come up with some legislative way to make sure that if you're buying a gel and you're disinfecting your hands or a food surface, that it does what it says on the tin, that it actually kills that virus. Else, you're wasting your time, you're putting your trust in that product, and that product may not be effective. We've had other products that we've developed really recently, like Fresh Check. It's an instant spray onto a surface, and it'll tell you whether that product or that surface is clean or whether it's dirty. They're readily available, and they will become more and more of people's own protective system as we go on, because we will change as a public. We have to change. We haven't been washing properly. I'm still gobsmacked that early in January, I saw this problem in China, and I sat in my office not thinking, wow, this is going to come to us. It was like, it's China's problem, it's going to be there. And then before we knew it, it was all around the world, and we just hadn't reacted as an industry quick enough. And in these type of pandemics, we will be remembered for what we do rather than what we don't do. And we've really been at the forefront to try and bring in new products, work with national health. At the moment, the disinfectant wipes that we all buy for cleaning cars and cleaning kitchens, all of the material that we buy for that is all going into scrubs at the moment for the NHS. We have got no wipes in the UK whatsoever.
Yeah, and how do people trust the company and the products that you have available? How in the absence of a standard set of guidelines, how do they trust your company?
It's very, very difficult, Aaron, of how you trust people without some sort of client mark system, etc. But as I said, in 30 years, our business cleans everyone from Muller Dairies to Yeo Valley to lots of the breweries. As I said, we're now working longer and harder and faster to make sure that we're working with other industries like the football industry to really impart our knowledge and so that people can feel safe with us. And I think that's our trademark, feel safe with us. We've got knowledge, we've got training, so we can run webinars so that your people, when they go back to football, can come into our webinar, they can see what's going on, and they can take part actively in the Q&A sessions to find out, you know, what they need to do and what the risk is in going back to football.
Yeah.
And as I said, it's the football industry are doing everything they can to make sure that when people do come back, that they're coming back and they're leaving with a smile rather than leaving with, you know, a problem.
Yeah. And so finally, how does someone at a football club get in touch with the company and find out what products you have?
Yeah, as I said, if someone just would want to Google us, it's Christeyns Food Hygiene. We've also got a huge laundry business, which is Christeyns, and we actually clean Bradford City football kit. So it's the cleanest kit in the country, I'm sure. So yeah, it's just if they can Google us, or if someone wants to give us a ring, it would be fantastic. But we're here to help, and we're here to come up with solutions for this problem rather than sell products that to people. And we really are a solution provider.
Excellent. Okay, thank you, Graham. It's been wonderful to speak to you, and I hope that we get out of this situation soon, I suppose.
We will. As I said, it's just getting back to the new normal, Aaron, and just wondering what that new normal is going to look like. But what it certainly will look like in my book is that hopefully that you know, Chelsea have come out better than they were before.